Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm Miriam. I'm David. And welcome to Kids Teach.
Where are we going, kids?
To learn about lambs. Today we're going to Reagan's farm to learn about her baby lambs. Come along with us. Reagan's farm is way out in the country. The drive there was beautiful. There was a kitty, ducks, a cute little puppy, a herding dog, and finally, the lambs. We got some corn to feed the sheep. When they saw us coming with their favorite treat, they all hurried over.
And they exactly like that. If you do this, and you see I've got all those wrinkles in my hands, and then they can accidentally bite it.
Reagan showed us how to feed the sheep with a flat hand so we didn't get bitten on accident.
And they'll just kind of nibble. You pretty much just feel their lips on your hand.
Their noses fell kind of soft. Like this?
Yep, perfect. You'll just get up to the fence line and stick your hand through.
When they lift up the food, it kind of tickles.
Kind of tickle. Cool. So, and this is her baby. They're pretty much weaned right now because all of the babies are 2 months old, but they're still trying to sneak some milk. So one of them did not make it.
Oh.
There we go. Her name is Poppy, and she was one of the twins. Her brother didn't make it, but she did. Jordan was here, I think she was probably less than 24 hours old. And he said she was just laying down and not really moving, so we figured she wasn't able to get enough milk. So he fed her on cow's milk until I got home, and then we got some sheep formula for her. Put her by some space heaters and fed her for the night, and then eventually we reintroduced her to her mom, and she's doing good. There are two kinds of sheep. You have wool sheep and hair sheep. The hair sheep, they naturally shed their hair every year, so you don't have to shear them. These are wool sheep, so I obviously have to shear them every year. And you can see up close on the fiber, it's got these little tiny curls in it, and that's what allows you to spin it into yarn. Is as you add that twist, then the curls like lock together, and that's why the yarn won't break or fall apart.
Oh, wow.
She's got even more curls up on her head.
Now the babies are 2 months old. So they don't drink their mommy's milk anymore. They eat clover and grass.
You want to point to some?
Yeah, some clover. And here's a different kind of clover. And here's some grass. How long are the mama sheep pregnant?
The mama sheep are pregnant for about 5 months. Typically you want them to have a baby in the springtime, so it's easier to keep them healthy. So you typically will breed them in the fall.
Do they like rain?
I wouldn't say that they like rain, but they don't really seem to mind it. Now whenever we have snow, they've got really thick wool on them, so they'll just go out and play in the snow, and they'll come back with a couple inches on them.
What's your favorite thing about having sheep?
I would have to say that the babies are a lot of fun. They can have really sweet personalities once they get full grown too. Like I've got one whose name is Bess, and she is by far my favorite just because she's super sweet.
What's your least favorite thing?
They're really loud sometimes, and when you're shearing, sometimes they'll kick you in the face or bite.
Oh my.
So that's not a favorite thing.
How much do they eat?
I would say they probably eat a couple pounds a day of grass or hay. In the winter, we feed them hay, which is dried grass. And then they'll get probably a couple cups of corn a day.
Are sheep hard to take care of?
No, not really. As long as you have a good fence for them so they can stay in and be safe, all they pretty much need is grass and water.
How often do you shear the sheep?
So the first time that you shear a sheep is when they're 1 year old, and then after that you'll shear them every year in the springtime.
How big are they when they are born?
The babies we typically have are about 5 to 8 pounds. It depends on if they're a single baby or if they're twins. If they're twins, they're usually smaller.
So about the size of a human baby.
Yep,
Yep.
pretty much.
That's really tiny.
It is really tiny.
How long do they live?
I think about 12 to 13 years. I'm not sure.
Whoa. Do you make good pets?
I think they would make very good pets if you're out in the country, but probably not if you have neighbors who live right next door. They probably would think they're really loud too.
What do you do with the wool?
What I do with the wool is I shear it and then I'll spin it and turn it into either yarn or you can felt it. Last year we had a bunch of wool, so I actually used it as mulch in the garden. And then there are some companies who are actually using it as insulation. So a couple different things.
How much do they sleep?
I'm not really sure. I think they probably sleep about half the day. But they like to eat early in the morning, and then they'll sleep during the hottest part of the day, and then they'll eat again during the evening and kind of sleep on and off at night.
How big are they?
It very much depends on the breed. There's a breed called Baby Del Southdown, and they probably only end up to be like 60 or 80 pounds. There's another breed that's called Suffolk, and they can be over 300 pounds. Yeah, pretty big. These, the moms are typically 100 to 120 pounds, and then the rams can be up to 150.
This is my last. What made you want to keep sheep?
Part of the reason was I bought a spinning wheel when I was in college, and I wanted to learn to spin the yarn, and I also wanted to be able to do that from my own sheep. Jordan and I also want to try and be fairly self-sufficient out here, so sheep are a really good animal for that because you can get milk and fiber, and you can also get meat from them.
Milk? I think I like. What does our milk taste like?
It's really sweet.
Kind of like goat's milk, or?
It's actually a little bit sweeter than that, and the ratio of the fat particles to, I guess, like the water and the other liquid, it's a lot higher, so you actually get more cheese per gallon than you would with cows or goats. So worldwide, they're really known as like the best animals for cheese making.
How many are usually born at a time?
We typically have 2 born at a time. Sometimes first-time moms will only have 1. I've heard of people having 3 born. Thankfully, that has not happened to us yet because 1 pretty much automatically becomes a bottle lamb.
How much land do they need?
I think what we've done in the past is we typically have about 8 sheep per 2 acres to an acre and a half. If you only had 1, they could get by with maybe a half acre, probably less. But I should mention, you really should never have just 1 sheep. They're very social. So you'd at the very least have 2, ideally you'd have 3. So it makes them feel a lot safer. Remington is an English Shepherd. He is, I believe, almost 5 years old. I decided that I wanted an English Shepherd because instead of being really prey-driven like a Border Collie, he's a little bit more just routine-driven. So it's not necessarily that he wants to move them all the time like a border collie would. It's more that he figures out what our routine is. Like if I had 2 different pastures and he knew every single evening at 5 o'clock we move him from one pasture to the other, even if I wasn't outside, he would try and do that on his own. So they're a really good farm dog just in that respect. They learn what's usual and typical. It's why he's really good at running the coyotes off, because he knows they don't belong here.
Wow, that's really neat.
Yeah.
Right. You guys have any other questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there snakes here?
I found one last year and I killed it. I don't like
And that was the end. No more snakes, right?
no more yet.
I got close to one, Mom.
Yeah. As we left Reagan's farm, we couldn't help but be thankful for the time we had spent there. The beauty of God's creation was all around us. We were reminded of how Reagan said they pray over their animals each night and God has kept them safe. Tonight, we'll also pray for Reagan's sheep and especially her baby lambs. Where are we going, kids?
To learn about the lambs.
Let's try again. Oh, yeah.
In them?
How much do they sheep?
No, sleep. How much do they sleep? Try again.